Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Candace.
Hey,
Hey,
Blaine, how you doing? Happy Saturday.
how are y'all? Happy Saturday.
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Excited to be on this morning.
We
Hey,
are too. We are so excited to be here. First of all, shout out to everybody who has joined us this weekend. It is Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day.
Yay! Happy Mother's Day to all the
Who
mothers.
runs the world, right? I love it. We're so excited to have you two ladies here today. First of all, I want to welcome all of our guests that are tuned in so far. If you are here, you are on time. We love that. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a ton of content that we want to go through today. So we want to make sure that we have time to cover all of that. We're going to get started on time. We're also, for the first time, live streaming this on Facebook, which we're very excited about. So let your friends know, let your family know. Laura and Candace are two of our preferred real estate agents at Dallas Habitat. They are both fabulous. They are passionate about education, homebuyer education, and especially working with first-time homebuyers. So we love working with them. Ladies, I'll give you a moment to introduce yourselves.
Awesome. You're muted.
I sure am. I'm sorry about that, guys. So I am Laura Cano. I am an agent here in Dallas, and I have been in real estate here for a little while. I don't want to show my age, so but I have been here, and I am so happy to be here, and I love being part of this program. Candace and I don't know if we've met some of you guys before, but we love giving back, and obviously here with Dallas Area Habitat for Humanity, we love the program and just being able to participate and just meeting new potential homeowners. So thank you guys for having us, and we see that there's 33 participants. So wow, I wish I could see your faces.
No, I wish I could too. Hey everybody, I'm Candace Rucker. I am a realtor with Keller Williams Realty. I am excited to be here. I've literally been working with Habitat since I've been a realtor. So they've been along this journey with me in my career, and it's just always a privilege and an honor to come and to serve with them. The heart of this organization is amazing, and I'm just so excited to be here. But like I said, 5 years in the industry, I service sellers, buyers, investors, also do investment real estate as well. So if that's something that you guys want to do later along the lines, I'm a wealth of information when it comes to that as well. I'm excited to be here to assist and go over this success plan with you all. And I hope you all are tuned in and sharing this with people and telling everybody you know about it, because it's going to be some great information we share today.
It totally will.
Yes.
I have to say, these ladies are being modest, y'all, because I have worked with both Laura and Candace now for many years, and they have had probably dozens of successes working with clients who come through the Dallas Habitat Homeownership Counseling Program, become mortgage ready, and then are looking to shop the home market. And so, you know, what we're going to talk about today is thinking about how you prepare yourself for homeownership. Of course, we're going to dig into the DFW housing market, everything that you need to know as a first-time buyer, how to understand your purchase power in today's market, and thinking about how you build out your home buying team. As a first-time home buyer, it's even more important that you make sure you've got the key players that you need to in this transaction. Before we get started this morning, just a couple of quick housekeeping rules I did want to go over. If it's your first time joining for one of our Zoom webinars, we welcome you. Thank you for being here today. And just know that you can use the Q&A box in your Zoom app or Zoom on your computer to be able to drop us questions. We are going to try to carve out 5 to 10 minutes at the very end to do a moderated Q&A session. We want to hear from you guys. So be sure that you drop us in questions that you have along the way, and then we'll go through and make sure we can answer as much as we can at the very end. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Again, if you're new to our Zoom webinars, you'll see we love to be interactive at Dallas Habitat. We want to make this fun. We want to get to know you guys as much as we can in this virtual age we're living in. And so let's get started today. I'm going to go ahead and run our very first poll. If you're new to Zoom, we love polls. It gives us some information to make sure we're tailoring the content that we're going to discuss today in a way that works for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run our first poll, which is, we want to know, where are you in the home buying process? So on your screen now, you should see a poll that you can submit your answers to. We want to know, are you just starting to think about it? Are you working currently with one of our homeownership counselors, with Porfirio or with Aretha? Are you pre-qualified? Are you already working maybe with a realtor? Are you under contract on a home, or are you close to closing? So let us know where you're at so we can better be able to serve you today. Take a few minutes to run through that. All right, looks like most people have voted. That's fantastic. And I really like what I see here, ladies, because it looks like, I'm going to end this poll now. Oh, we got one more person. There we go. Everybody voted. Okay. It looks like the vast majority of people on today's call are either just starting to think about homeownership, or they're working with Dallas Habitat, which means that they're preparing for homeownership. And we would say, you know, education should be the first step. So if you're here today and you're just starting to think about it, you're in the right spot. Yes. So congrats on taking that first step. Oh, and I meant to share this result. So here y'all go.
Wow.
Yeah, 20% just started thinking about it. 72% are working with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dallas Habitat.
Awesome. I love that poll.
Love it. We're going to do one more poll at the end, so we want to make sure we hear from you guys. Okay, ladies. So who wants to take it away and share their screen to show the presentation?
I will take it away. I will go ahead and get started and share our presentation, guys. I hope you love it. Here we are. Do you mind closing out that poll results? Let's see. For some, there it is. Tell me if you can see my screen, please.
We're good. We can see it.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, let me go ahead and zoom this in a little bit to make sure that you guys can see it very well, because I know that it's a little bit small. But here you go. So we've prepared this home buying guide for you guys. And just to make sure, because a lot of times when you're diving into the home buying process, you don't really know what questions to ask. And it is a bit of, not necessarily, well, I'm not sure what to call it, but it is a little bit tedious. So we want to make sure that we prepare this to be able to guide you through the process and the most frequently asked questions. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. So my name again is Laura Cano, and
I'm Candace Rucker.
So for those who are ready, willing, and able, we get that question a lot. Now is definitely a great time to start your home search. So like Blaine said, preparation is definitely the key. So I think you guys are definitely in the right place right now, because it looks like you guys are teamed up and prepared. So preparation is definitely key. So there are about 10 very important steps to buying a home. First of all is finding a right agent that will be willing to help guide you through the process. So the second one here would be preparing your finances. It looks like you guys are paired up right now. And I think right now, Blaine, you guys are going to be hosting a seminar also, which will be helping them with their finances and how much home, right, they can afford. What is that, the credit? The
credit webinar, and we'll talk about that at the end, coming up next Thursday. But many of you on the call today may have already joined our Intro to Homeownership webinar we host with Bank of America. We talked a lot about that in that webinar as well.
Yes, so we definitely recommend that as well. So the first one would be, how much forced house can you afford? Because before you start looking, mortgage lenders recommend you not to stretch yourself before buying a home. So that is most of the time 3 to 5 times your annual income if you're not purchasing a home with cash. So I don't think you know, most of us are not purchasing a home with cash unless you're an investor and you have, like, you inherited a great deal of money from, you know, a great grandmother or one of your parents. Then if that's the case, then you are definitely blessed. Give us a call and we will help guide you through that process. So a lender will work with you to get you a loan that meets your needs. There's several financing options right now. And right now we're watching the market and we're watching those different options that better suits your needs. Some buyers are concerned with keeping their monthly payments as low as possible. Others want to make sure that their monthly payments never increase. So we will be able to guide you with those. The lender will check your credit, okay? Some mortgage requires that you do have a great credit score. You can improve those scores by paying down credit card balances, continuing to make your payments on time, and avoid applying for new credit cards or car loan until you have been approved. Avoid making big purchases until you have been approved. Now, I will say this, I am not a lender, but these are some tips that we do. Of course, we always recommend to our buyers, and the lenders, those will be the experts that will be able to guide you through this process and give you this advice as well. So saving for a cash down payment and other expenses. In order to make your dream of buying a home a reality, you will need to save cash for your down payment. Earnest money, closing costs, and a home inspector. These are costs that will be applied to and are part of buying a home. A down payment is typically between 3.5% to 20% of the purchase price, depending on the type of loan that you get into. Okay. Now, these are terms that we'll go deeper into as we, you know, place you with the lender, and the lender will be able to go more in depth once you get approved for that mortgage. The earnest money is money that you put down to show that you're serious about purchasing a home. It's also known as a good faith deposit. Now, remember the earnest money, this will be a credit back to you once you find the home. So these are terms that we need to just kind of keep in mind. Closing costs for the buyer run between 2 to 5% of the loan. A home inspection costs about $300 to $500, okay? So these are preparing the finances, and we're giving you a lot of these terms and information in, you know, just to kind of give you that advance notice of what are the finances that I'm gonna need before I do find that home. Because a lot of times people think, okay, well, what are the upfront costs that I'll need, you know, to even start looking for a home? Well, these are some of those upfront costs that you'll need. So number 3 would be getting pre-approved. So being pre-approved, unlike being pre-qualified, means that you'll actually be approved by a lender for a specific amount. You'll need to provide documents, financial information, income statement, assets, debt, and credit reports to be reviewed and then verified by the lender. So those are 2 different things. You hear pre-qualification and you hear pre-approval. So keep those terms in mind. That's preparing for a home loan and getting pre-qualified. Do we have any?
Can I jump in and ask you a question on behalf of the audience?
Absolutely, absolutely.
What is the difference in terms of working with a realtor between a pre-qualification letter and a pre-approval? What would you all recommend?
So those are getting the documentations ready. No, I saw a question there. I'm not sure if that's one of the questions on there, but being pre-approved, unlike getting pre-qualified, and did you say working with a lender or working with a realtor?
Working with a realtor.
So
when you go shop for a home with a realtor, does it matter if you should have a pre-qualification versus a pre-approval?
Yes. So a lot of times if you're shopping for a home without a pre-qualification letter, you're kind of putting, what is that saying? Putting the carriage
the cart before the horse.
I'm not good with terms, but yes, that's exactly what you're doing. Especially in this market. So in this market, homes are going so fast. We just saw a home yesterday with one of my buyers, and he said, hey, I'm very interested in this home. Let's put an offer. I mean, literally this morning we submitted the offer after working on it last night, multiple offers. Had I not gotten pre-qualified, You know, pre-qualifying, sending in all of his documentation, lender going over, you know, verifying everything else. There's no, I mean, his chances would have been slim to none because he's up against other buyers who are ready. So you definitely have to have that buying power. And we have to remember buying power. That is your buying power when you're going into a competitive market. So it is definitely important when you're working with a realtor, other than just kind of shopping online. It's almost like window shopping on Zillow. You know, you're just window shopping. But if you're really serious, if you're a serious buyer and going into home buying, then, okay, let's get this together. Let's go and talk to one of our counselors here at Habitat, and let's start getting the process going. So yes.
Yes. Can I chime in on that too? Being when you are pre-approved and being pre-qualified, you definitely don't want just an approval. You want to be fully qualified, because anything could come up within your finances when the lender is fully qualifying you. And you would hate to have your offer accepted, put down an earnest and an option money deposit, paid for inspection, just to run into some financial difficulties because the work wasn't done on the front end. So it's always, as tedious as it may be, when we say we would like you to be fully qualified, it's super important, because once you start pulling out your money for earnest, option, inspection, and your time, you want to make sure that you are for certain having the ability to buy that house without any hiccups coming up. And I've ran into situations like that when a buyer just gave me a pre-approval letter, but once the lender start pulling the actual documentations, oh, we're finding out that this person has maybe back child support or some type of delinquency, which prohibits them from buying and moving forward on the purchase of that home. In the meantime, you've already put out this money and you've had this expectation that you were going to get this house, and now we have a roadblock. So what this gives us the ability to do is minimize roadblocks and issues so that we can make your home buying process as smooth as possible, because it's already a lot of stress. It's already a lot of emotion that goes into buying a home. So you really want to make sure that we take care of that financial piece first thing first, so that you're not disappointed, you don't waste your time or your money, and we can service you at the highest level possible.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. And it prevents heartache. You know, buying a home is definitely an emotional process. So when we ask for this, we are saving you from time, heartbreak, and we just really want to prepare you for the process. So it is the smartest, the wisest thing to do for everyone. So, okay, so right now there's different types of loans, and we're, you know, your realtor, we're watching the credit score closely. During these times, these scores are changing. 2 months ago, the FHA scores were at, you could get in at 580s to 620, I believe, right, Candace? So depending on the lender. So right now, as of a few days ago, those scores have increased depending on the lender. So you always want to check with your realtor, your counselor, to make sure where these scores are at, because they change daily. So right now we're looking at about a 640 to a 680 depending on the product. So, and these down payments are between 3.5% to 5% to up to 20%. So these are case by case scenarios. So you definitely need that guidance. So again, like Blaine said, you are at the right place. You are definitely, you've made the right choice, and you're definitely going to be taken care of. The income qualifications. So income qualifications, W-2 income salary, from part-time jobs, second jobs, overtime, bonuses, seasonal jobs, self-employment, alimony, and child supports. Those are documentations that are needed. Non-qualifying income from lottery, gambling, unemployment pay, single bonuses, and unverifiable income. This is here because at one case or another, we've seen it. So believe it or not, we've seen it. So these are documents that are non-qualifying income. Needed documents to be able to qualify for a loan: W-2s from the past 2 years, 3 months worth of your pay stubs, bank statements the last 3 months, previous 2 years of tax returns, lists of your debts and assets, divorce decrees, and additional income documents as needed and requested by your lender. So I'm just able to, you know, kind of give you, we're giving you an overall based on what we've seen. This may change and they may request additional information. So these are just items that we've seen. So case by case scenario and depending on the product and the loan that, that you'll be applying for. So this is start home shopping. Was this, you want to touch on this?
So start home shopping. So now we got you qualified. You've fully been vetted with the lender. You know how much purchasing power that you have to purchase a home. So you have a couple of options, right? So if you're in this program with Dallas Area Habitat, then they have what they call their inventory homes in their neighborhoods that they've built in, or they have those resale homes that you can purchase and go through their program with. But if you are saying, well, I want more options, I want to look at what's on the open market, that's where we come in as realtors, right? So the process for the in-house is a lot different from the process from the open market, of course, because you're buying an inventory home, a new construction home. One, it's something that you don't have to get into a bidding war over. You pretty much pick the house, pick what you want, and that's your home. You do your due diligence with them. But when you come into the open market, it's a different way of doing things, because now we have a different type of rules of engagement when it comes to working with realtors in the open market. One, of course, you're going to have different area options. So with Habitat, you're probably limited to the different areas that you can choose from, but in the open market, of course, you have more options, and that's based too upon your purchasing power. In a little bit, Lada is going to pull up a purchase. She's going to pull up the MLS, which is what the realtors use when we are looking for homes. Zillow doesn't have access to this. Redfin does not have access to this. Whatever internet, realtor.com, they get their information from the realtors. So we have the on time, exclusive access to all the properties that are available. Those other industries, they're like a secondary, because we feed our information to those different sites. So we want to first show you in the open market, apart from picking an inventory home with Dallas area, what your purchasing power can get you. So Lada's pulled up our actual system. This is the system that we use. We're going to look at two different price points. We're going to look at a price point from $150,000 to $200,000. And we're only looking in Dallas County right now. I felt like that was a broad enough spectrum for us to look at. And then we're going to look at homes that are built from the year 2000 to 2020. So houses built from 2000 to 2020. What is your purchasing power? What's out there on the market that's available? Single family homes, by the way. Lada.
So here are the results. Homes, single family residences from 2000 to 2020. These are all the active listings. Do you want me to go ahead and click on some of them?
Yeah, so you see we have about 69 options, okay? Now with this is also a good indication for you as a buyer. We're seeing a shift in the market, okay? Not only, we have this COVID-19 that we have to contend with, which we'll touch on that as well, but we're seeing that in the price point of $150,000 to $200,000, you have more options in buying homes, as opposed to 2 years ago when we did this same class. There was not many options for this price point. It was probably like half of what's available in 2 years ago than what's available now. So that's an indication to show you that your purchasing options are increasing because of the way the market is swinging and changing so rapidly. So like I said, 69 options, you can see that. And Lada's just gonna pull up, she pulled up an area map just to kind of show you where those houses are located. So keep in mind, where do you wanna live at? What is available to me for the price range that I want to stay in? What areas does that yield me? So Lada's pulling up a couple of properties, just showing you what those houses look like. She pulled up the area map just so you can see where those homes are located. That way you can get an idea of, you know, what areas are yielding what. So we have this home on 4206, for example, Aztec Drive. It is in South Dallas and it's 183. Now this is a new construction home. Is that Habitat price? No, this is not a Habitat home. These homes that we are showing you are on the open market. So these are not homes that are in the Habitat inventory. So we want to show you that there are options in the event that you don't want to pick an inventory home with Habitat. You do have other options if that's the route that you decide to go. Okay, so click on a couple pictures so they could see. Okay, and we'll click on maybe one more. Yeah, it is a nice home. Now, please bear in mind too that as realtors, we are to advise you, but we can't steer you. We can present you the data, the information, but our job is we cannot coerce or steer you into one direction or the other. So it's really important too that you do your due diligence as well as far as finding out, you know, a lot of people ask me about police activity, like is it crime, high crime area, or is there a pedophile, or how is the school district? Yes, I can produce that information, but it also is your responsibility as well to do your due diligence and looking into, because it's all free and it's accessible, so it's not a secret. None of that information is a secret to you. I also will always advise my clients to drive in the neighborhood, drive at 3 different times of the day. I always say drive in the morning, the midday, and the evening. And you want to do that on the weekday and you want to do that on the weekend, because that gives you a gauge of the type of area and community that you are looking into to see how the neighborhood is. Because Lord forbid, we can't guarantee anything, right? Nothing in life period is guaranteed other than Jesus. But
there was a question on here. Can we see Habitat available home locations? So Habitat homes are not listed on the MLS because you have to come through the program in order to qualify to purchase the homes, and your counselor will be able to share all those details in regards to those homes. So these homes that we're sharing, these are open market homes, okay? So that question was answered. Thank you for answering that question.
I'm sorry,
but,
I'm going probably kind of fast. Like if there's
no, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just answering it for anyone else who is watching. So we wanted to make sure to put it out there for anyone else that's watching. So thank you so much for asking that question. And in case anyone else had that question who is watching, we do have a pretty good crowd. There's 44 participants, so that is so exciting. Okay. I absolutely love that. So please continue to ask the questions. Thank you for answering that question, Blaine. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
We can't hear you.
Thank you. If you just tuned in, or if you missed our opening part, make sure that if you have questions that you want Laura and Candace to get to, drop them in the Q&A box on your Zoom app. And we'll have a moderated Q&A session at the end. Make sure we answer your questions.
Yes. So, okay. So you want to go ahead and move on to the presentation, or do you want to continue to look at additional properties?
We can move on. I mean, if anyone has any questions about that, the main thing that we want to reiterate or make very clear to you is that yes, Dallas area neighborhood homes has inventory of homes, right? That they will give you the ability and access to choose from through their program, okay? Remember, you have to go through their program. But on the flip side of that, as realtors, we have a database of inventory homes. A lot of times they're not new construction. They can be resale. They could be new construction like the one you've seen, but you do have options. So I want you to remember that in these two different worlds, they have two different rules of engagement too. Just to bring when I say rules of engagement, you know, we're in a new time, right, Lotta, where we have COVID-19. So, you know, this is a new thing for everybody. It's a very real thing, and we have to be mindful. So even the way that we are doing business as realtors and showing houses to you as the buyer has changed. I don't know if you want to touch on that at all, Lotta, just to kind of let them know what to expect when they do choose a realtor out here on the open market wanting to look at these homes.
Yes, before I leave this page, let me go ahead and show you really quick as far as the, since we have the map pulled up, because we do get that request a lot in regards to specific locations, as far as what your buying power and what can I purchase. So let's zoom in to Dallas, right? Because we're in Dallas County. So in regards to Dallas County, and so we're looking this price point, which is 150 to 200. So pretty much this is going to be, so this is Dallas, this is West Dallas, here we are, Uptown Oaklawn, and this is going to be Northeast Dallas. We are looking, this is South Dallas. So we're looking more into the southern sector. If you're looking in the, you know, towards Irving, Grand Prairie, Crocker Hill, Arlington, Euless, Bedford. So if you're looking like maybe North Dallas, okay, here we are. Here's North Dallas. So you're gonna be looking out for the green, the little green that's available. That's active inventory. There's no active inventory in that price point in Garland, Richardson, Rowlett, Irving, Grand Prairie, Carrollton. So we definitely would have to be open-minded if you're looking for something that's in the price point of 150 to 200 and built in the year 2000 to 220. If you wanted to expand your search, maybe the years, you know, pre-built homes and up your price range. So we could definitely do that. But I guess where I'm driving at is the broader your search, as far as like price point and as far as location, you would have the possibility of finding your home would be better, because right now this is where we would be limited to finding that home. So it kind of makes it a little bit difficult for us when we get like specific search requests, because this is what we're working with. So if we're plugging in 150 to 200, and then we get 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and then we get specific requests, then sometimes we're super limited, and you know, we get these requests and then we're like, hey, you only sent me 2 homes. Well, you know, we narrow our search to specific criteria, and that's all that we can provide. So, so keep that in mind and be open-minded. And there's some things that we are not able to change. Location is one of them, right? So location is one of them. So like Candace said, if you get this list and, you know, drive by the areas, you know, maybe there's some things that you can, you know, work with. Maybe, you know, be open-minded as far as the area. Can I take that little bit of longer drive? Can I add 5 minutes to my drive to work? Because a lot of these properties, these are the locations that we're working with. So I hope that helps. Your realtor.
We had a question. Someone asked about, are we limited to Dallas County? No, you're not limited to Dallas County or any area for that matter. I don't know if we can do a quick, if someone can throw out another county that they're interested in, so we can just quickly show you the numbers so you can see the price point between 150 to 200. Collin County, somebody shouted, I'm like shouted. Somebody typed Collin County. Okay, could we do Collin?
Yeah, let me add Collin County. So no, you're not. We can help you with that. Yep. Let me add Ellis. I mean,
okay, take out Dallas.
Okay, let me take out Dallas.
Okay.
and remove. And so I removed Dallas, added Collin, Ellis, and Kaufman County, and we've got 39 matches. So I think with Dallas County, we had how many? 60?
69.
So even though we added 3 additional counties, our search came back a little bit lower with 3 counties, which was 39. So we can go wherever you want to, we can search for you. So we can't guarantee that, the results would be broader or that you'd get more results, but we can.
And,
we can
show them what that looks like. So this is just we're just going to go through a couple of these just so you can have an idea, the difference even in the type of property in that price point in those areas, how those homes look, because I think that's really important too.
Yes. So here, let's see, let's pull one up. I like that first one that looked like a farmhouse.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. I lost it, but okay. So here's one. So here's one. It's in Heartland, Texas, and that one is 184. So it. Let's see. Let's pull that one up. Okay. So it said the first one was in Farmersville, but I missed the address. I can find it for you because I think you liked it too. But let's see. Okay, so this one, it's a newer build, it's vacant. And in regards to showing homes too, we wanted to touch on that really quickly. There's some restrictions right now with the whole COVID thing. I don't know if you touched on that.
You want me to run through that? So we have to follow, although initially when this whole COVID-19 started, they had deemed the Dallas County realtors, they deemed us non-essential. But now we've recently, as of about 3.5-4 weeks ago, we've been deemed essential, but we have to follow and meet the CDC guidelines. Just to run through some of those guidelines. And the reason why we're telling you this, so you can be prepared. This is what the expectation is when we take you out to look for homes. First of all, they want us to limit physical contact whenever possible. So what does that mean? Well, a lot of virtual tours have been happening where we've been able to take the home and make it a virtual tour to limit the amount of traffic coming in and out the house. The realtors are now asking that before you make an appointment, go look at it on a virtual tour and really make sure you actually have to see it. If you can just pick the house from the virtual tour, we prefer you to do that because we want to limit access to this property. The homeowner feels safer that way, especially if it's occupied. Also, if we do have to physically go into the house, we still have to practice social distancing. So that's 6 feet. 6 feet apart, and then you can't bring everybody there to look at the house. So only the buyers, okay? So you can't bring your mom, dad, the whole family. I mean, I love when that happens. I think it's a great thing, but when we're looking at homes, we just really want to limit it to the actual buyers and the agent. They even are limiting you wanting to bring kids, like your kids. They want us to keep the kids at home as much as possible because kids touch things, they're running all around, they don't know, they're just innocent. So they want to limit the interaction with even bringing kids. Next thing, like I said, I had to do this a couple of days ago. You would have to sign a waiver form saying that I've taken my temperature, I'm not sick, I don't have a fever, I'm not coughing, I haven't been anywhere, and you have to consent and sign that form, and I have to sign that form and send it in order for us to get approval to go into these homes. So you have to do that typically per property. Not every agent is going to require that, but there are some agents and homeowners that want you to sign a form consenting that you do not have a fever, you're not sick, and you are able to go into this house and not put us at risk. The last thing I wanted to mention is I posted a picture on Facebook because I have a whole face shield, I have a mask, I have gloves, I have shoe covers. Now, a lot of these homeowners want you to wear that. They want you to at least wear a mask. They want you to have gloves. You got to have your hand sanitizer on deck. your wipes on deck. I have all of those things, but they want you to have that stuff on before entering into their property. So I just want you to be mindful of that, you know, they're watching, they're putting that stuff even at the front door at a lot of these houses. Like, please put on a mask, put on gloves, put on shoe covers, have some hand sanitizer. It's like the new norm. So just want to set that expectation that they want to limit traffic coming in and out the house. So if you can search for a home, some people have the ability where they don't have to go in the home. They can do a virtual tour. They're all good. I'm not like that personally. I just have to go to the house. I got to get a feel. So if that's you, we got to practice the 6 feet social distancing. Please limit the people that are coming, only those that are actually buying the home. And you want to put the face mask, you want to put your gloves and some shoe covers, you know, all that stuff helps, and have your hand sanitizer ready. So those are just some of the changes that are taking place right now when you're going to the open market and working with the realtor. So just wanted to let you guys know and be aware of that.
It's a little tough, especially for some of us. I know I'm you know, with my buyers, I'm really close to my buyers, and I couldn't attend one of the closings the other day, and that kind of got to me because I really wanted to be there for them. You get really close with them because it's really a journey for them, and so that kind of, you know, upset me. But you know, because you've got to be able to abide. But you know what? You got to stay focused on what your goal is, and just continue to move forward with the steps. One of the tips that we do want to, that I want to share with you guys is make sure you have an idea of what your wants and needs are. The things that you can change, like we touched on, are things like carpet, paint that are cosmetic. You can always address those. You can always change them. Don't pay an extra $5,000 because someone slapped some paint on the wall. You can change that. Try to focus on the items that you cannot change, like location, number of rooms, etc. So be open-minded and think of your home as a long-term investment and wealth building. So, you know, 5 years from now, your home, you know, if you are able to purchase wisely and if well advised, that's going to be equity in your pocket. What equity, the best reference that I can give you as far as what equity is a forced savings account. So forced savings account, that's really going to come in handy. So a lot of times we don't think of it that way, but it really is. So that's a huge asset for you. So what comes after you find a home? You make an offer. When to make an offer? When you found the house. So congrats. In today's market, when the demand is higher than the amount of properties are available, it's important to act fast. Again, yesterday, you know, our buyer, he knew exactly what he wanted. He already had it visualized. He was ready, willing, and able. So after the third home that we looked at, he said, I'm ready to put an offer today, submitted, highest and best, ready to go. So how much to offer? We discuss and we look at recent sales, current buyer activity in the area. If priced right, then, you know, the realtor will be able to recommend what you should offer, as well as the value of the property and its current market condition. With the knowledge of all this information, we'll be able to determine the price that you would like to offer. What is submitting a good offer? Well, there's different components to making an offer. Always put your best foot forward. We'll be able to work together to discuss your options to create the very best offer. Depending on those circumstances, you may have only one chance to make that very first impression on the seller. So remember that. Don't try to nickel and dime if that's the house that you really want. Don't say, okay, well, I'll send 199.99 and let's see what he says, or, you know, $500. What if that $500 really makes a difference? Now, keep in mind, if that's all you're approved for, or if that's, you know, that may only make the difference, right? That may make the difference. So one of the things that I have recommended is, hey, let's send an offer. Some sellers, unless they're investors, right? They're always looking at the net. Some sellers, they want to know who's buying their property. They want to know who's buying the property, and it has worked. It has worked several times. I've asked, hey, you know what? Why don't you write a letter? Write a seller the letter and let them know why they should choose your offer. Why do you want this home? Why they should choose to go with yours. So this is an option that some buyers have chosen to go with the home purchase because it definitely is an emotional decision on both ends. Another option is to shorten the inspection period to no more than 7 to 10 days. The inspection period is a time where the house remains off the market. No one else can go look at it, and the buyer takes that opportunity to go and do all of their inspections. So we can talk about that a little bit later, but one of the other options to submitting, presenting a good offer is putting down a healthy earnest money deposit. The earnest money shows that you're serious and in good faith. Typically it's about 1%, but if you're able to put additional earnest money, I always recommend that. Now during the option period, super important to work within those timelines because your earnest money is, you know, at risk there. So we want to be able that we work through those timelines, and we got to keep track of those timelines. So offer to close quickly. Here's another time where being prepared and having all your ducks in a row and being qualified and having all your documentation and working with your counselor is important, because at the time when you present that offer, if you already have all of your documentation ready, if you're already qualified and you're ready to go, here's where you say, seller, I can close in 21 days. I've had lenders that have helped me and they're aggressive. And if you're ready to go, hey, if we submit that offer, we say, look, this is why you should choose us. We have the option to close in 21 days because we are a ready, willing, and able buyer, and we have all our ducks in a row. They will choose your offer if given the opportunity to close within 21 days versus the offer that is taking 30, 45, 60 days, right? So that shows that you are prepared, that you're an educated buyer, and that you're responsible because you've gotten ready to purchase their home. So that will definitely show the seller that you are a responsible buyer and that you're ready to close quickly if need be. So the process of buying a home after you submit the offer, the seller could accept the offer, decline the offer. If this happens, if the seller thinks your offer doesn't close within their expectations, they can decline it or they can counter it. A counter offer is when the seller offers you different terms. If they counter, that's when the negotiation process starts. What you can do is either accept the counter offer or decline the counter offer. If you counter the seller's offer, you can negotiate back and forth, like I said, as many times as you need to until both of you guys come to an agreed position. And then once you both agree on those terms, then you have an executed contract and the offer is accepted. You'll sign the purchase agreement and then you're officially under contract. So this period is called the option period. That's when the time starts ticking. And that's when your option period starts, and that's when you start doing all of the inspections and appraisals and everything else built into the purchase agreement. So, but yeah, that's pretty much, that breaks everything down once you find the house. I know we're kind of going through everything, you know, line by line, but these are things that your agent would be able to guide you with. So, but yeah, so after that, you order the inspection, and during that inspection time, you'll be able to order the inspection with a reputable home inspector to go through a thorough inspection of the home. And once it's complete, you'll be able to get a list of the findings. And that's when, that's where the value of one of your realtors comes in place, because that's where things start getting a little aggressive, right, Candace?
Yes.
So, so we'll go through the entire inspection report. Some of these reports tend to be like 30 pages because the inspection goes through everything. He can be there 2 to 3 hours. So he goes through everything and then sends us a report with pictures, video, and everything. And he's basically our eyes and our ears. He goes under the house, he goes in the roof, he goes in the attic, sends us that report. And we go through all of those items. And keep in mind, we negotiate the major repairs that are going to hinder the integrity of the home. So when you guys move in, we want to know that, hey, major things aren't going to happen with the house. We can't foresee, right, if major things happen with the house, but we try to prevent those things from happening by negotiating those findings that the inspector has pulled in that report. We negotiate back and forth with the seller. And there are two things that they can do. They can either repair those items, or in lieu of those repairs, give you credit of monetary credit, or drop the price of the home. So that's when you negotiate the final inspections. And like right here, think the big picture and don't sweat the small stuff. Tile that needs some caulking or leaky faucet can easily be fixed. Repairs are still up for negotiation. Maybe a small credit would help with the closing costs.
Yeah, and
So,
can I chime in on that?
Yeah, of course.
And as far as the inspection, like Lada said, we don't want to get caught up on the small stuff. We don't want to sweat the small stuff. So the 5 things that we really want you to be aware of, which are the most costly items on a home repair, is the roof, plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC system, or the air AC heating, and also the foundation. So those are the 5 items that are most costly on home repairs that we really want to hone in on. And that's why you do need a realtor, because if something comes up with one of those items and we have to get it further evaluated by a professional, we can instantly have someone further evaluate and investigate what's going on with that house. Because Lord forbid you buy a house and we don't, you write it off as not a big deal, and it actually is. So we want to make sure that we address all those main items. Those are the 5 items you want to really, really hone in on and pay attention to. We don't want to get caught up in the caulking, like Lada said, a little leaking, or a little loose doorknob, or a loose handle, or a loose faceplate for electrical circuit. That's something you could just screw in. We want to look at the roof. We want to look at plumbing. Is there any leaks? Have there been? And then also we want to look at insurance claims. I learned this, like if there's been any insurance claims, we have to, because some people file an insurance claim on the house and they will do the bare minimum to fix it up and pocket the money. So we've seen stuff like that happen. So we want to make sure what insurance claims have been filed on this house, because that's important. And that also can impact the amount of insurance that you will have to pay. So if there's been a lot of major claims filed on that house. So we're going to look at those 5 things, and that's really important within that option period, as Lada said. So I just wanted to call those 5 things out just so you can have that in your mind as those being very important. And also keep in your mind insurance claims. I want to know, has there been any major claims filed? Because some sellers won't disclose it. They may figure like, oh, I don't have to disclose it because I've had it fixed, it's done, we don't need to disclose it. But that stuff has to be disclosed. And if it's not on the seller's disclosure, it's up to your
Insurance
broker or insurance agent to be able to find that information out and see what claims have been filed on that home. So just
it's called a clue report, Alexandria. Yes.
Oh, okay.
A clue report. She said it's kind of like looking at the Carfax and buying a car. So that's when your insurance agent comes in, and that's the importance of working with a great team. So, but yes, Candace is absolutely right. So. Also, part of that team is your title representative. So your title company, they also do a property title search. So we touched on the inspector. Candace just touched on the insurance and the property title search. So the property title search, once we go through all of that, the title search ensures that the seller truly owns the property and that all existing liens, loans, or judgments are disclosed, because once you close on the property, on your home, you want to have free and clear title. Okay, you don't want any judgments. So that's what the title is for, so that you have free and clear title, so that any judgments or any mechanics liens or anything that the prior owner possibly had on the home, those are free and clear. So it is super important to have that title policy, and usually the seller pays for that, but again, everything in the contract is negotiable, and that's when a good realtor, that's when your real estate agent comes into play. So having property title insurance and a title policy, that's another piece of the puzzle of buying a home. So that's where we cannot stress enough that a lot of people, they say, well, you know what, I think I'm going to buy a house that's for sale by owner. Well, a lot of times when you're buying a house that's for sale by owner, it's just a sign on the wall, and in the front yard. The seller selling it, he really does not have a lot of idea what I mean, unless it's an agent, I'm not sure, but I don't want to, I've had some really bad experiences where I've had buyers purchase that type of property with zero representation, and, they've come back, nightmares, title policy, they've had issues with the title policy, and it's just a bad experience. So you definitely always want to have that representation so that you as a buyer are protected. So title insurance, title policy, inspection. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next. Do you have something to add to that, Candace?
No, you did wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
So after that, once you receive that and you are in the clear, pretty much, you're in the clear, you go ahead and you schedule, you start scheduling the move after signing the contract. You schedule the home inspection, you start decluttering, and that's the fun part, right? When you have 4 weeks to move, you give enough notice. We always get that question answered, and it's kind of scary for me to give that advice. It's like, I'm 4 weeks to move. Okay, well, just make sure that you give enough notice. If you currently are renting, schedule the movers, moving truck, aunts, uncles, cousin. That's when you call them and you say, hey, I'm going to need help moving, right? By finding packing materials, start packing, arrange appraisal with the lender, and complete the search. The title company will be able to take care of these, and the lenders that we work with and the title companies that we work with, they're pretty awesome. So they'll be able to be proactive and get that done for you. So within 2 weeks of moving, secure the home warranty, get quotes for your home insurance, and schedule in time for closing. Utility companies, change address, mailing subscriptions, everything. Those are the things that we tend to forget about when you move. And then it's like when you're already moving in the process, like, oh, I forgot to change my address, right? So you start minimizing your grocery list, because you don't want to leave food, let it go bad in the refrigerator, and you keep on packing. So 1 week of the move, you start getting your checks for closing. You work with the lender and your realtor just to make sure, okay, what do I need? What checks do I need to be able to take to closing? By that time, you should already have a good idea of what are the checks that I'm going to need to take to closing. And we're going to be able to help you schedule that final walkthrough. What the final walkthrough is, usually we do it I like to do it like the day before closing, because we've had some times, we walked into a house right the day before, no, actually I think it was 1 hour before closing, where we walked in and the water heater was like busted and the floors were like completely soaked. So what you get to do at the final walkthrough, you just get to walk through the house. Is exactly what it is. You walk through the house and you make sure that there's nothing that's happened, like that, like a busted water heater, and that all the repairs have been completed. The repairs, we usually tend to get all of the receipts anyway that we requested at the time of the option period, but you get to do that final walkthrough right before closing. So at closing, you usually bring your photo ID, certified checks, homeowners insurance, anything that they request, any other required documents, and at funding, you get the keys to your new house. So, and believe it or not, those are all the steps to buying a home. It seems tedious and it seems like a lot, but as long as you have that guidance and the right team in place, it is easy. Preparation is definitely key. Yes, it really is. So on closing day, right now we are doing things a little bit different. We're doing things virtually, like Candace said. On closing days, when you sign all of your insurance paperwork, typically, you'll get the closing disclosure, which is called the CD. Lenders are required to provide the CD at least 3 days before closing, where you get to review all of the numbers. Again, the final walkthrough, we do that within 24 hours, just to make sure that there's no final pop-ups. And the closing table, who's usually there is your agent, the lender, and the title rep. But right now, they're not allowing, a lot of title companies are not allowing us to be there. So I've had to like pop in through FaceTime or just they're not even, I mean, I don't know. We're trying to work through that right now. So we've, a lot of title companies are doing virtual closings, and that usually happens at the title company. However, remote closings have been accommodations for buyers just for safety precautions. You'll be signing a lot of paperwork, so make sure that your writing hand is warmed up. You'll need to bring 2 forms of IDs. And that day, when you hear the words closing and funding, that's when you'll get your keys. Hopefully it happens the same day, but what I do recommend is that you schedule your closing early, like before 12, so that you fund the same day. So, and then you get to get your keys and be home. So, and then officially you're a homeowner. So that is pretty much it. So yeah, you got anything else, Candace? I can't hear you.
Oh, that was great. Thank you so much. Any questions? We open up for questions, and Blaine,
Yes.
if you want to chime in.
Yes. Okay, we're back. We have answered a lot of the questions that have come through, but I really want to encourage you guys, if you have questions for Laura and for Candace, now is the time to ask them. In the Zoom app, you'll see a question and answer or Q&A box. We're right at 11, so if you don't have questions, we'll give it just a few minutes. And I really did also, we have some comments coming through. I'll just shout out about how much people are appreciating the webinars that we're doing. Thank you for that comment. This is new for us. It's new for Laura, new for Candace as well. And we want to make sure that we're producing content that's timely, that's relevant, and that helps you guys be able to still move forward in your home ownership journey, even with COVID-19 going on. You know, this is still so really important. So we're excited to have you guys tuning in. The other thing, let me see, we have a couple of questions coming through. Let me pull this up real quick from our chat box. Okay. There we go. Oh, here we go. Sorry, y'all. We've got a lot of thank yous coming in. We had a question about homeowners insurance. How is homeowners insurance handled in the process of home buying and closing?
Yes, we can recommend a homeowner's insurance rep to service you. We have brokers. A lot of times with the brokers, they can shop along multiple insurance companies, giving you the best possible rate. You also have the option to search your own, but we try to make it easier for you. So we do have those services available where we can recommend brokers that are insurance reps or individual insurance reps that represent one agency that we work with, that we have experience with. So that's something, all of these different pieces, these different players to your team, we have access. We've been doing this. This is something me and Lada do full time. So we have a full Rolodex of people that we work with on a consistent basis that can help you, that we have proven successful results with. So you don't have to feel apprehensive about, oh, is this a good person to choose? No, because we've actually worked with them. They've been vetted by us through experience, of course, and we can recommend. But by no means does that mean you have to use the people we recommend. We don't get an incentive for you doing it. It's just to help you, to guide you through the process and make things easier for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add to that too, Candace, if you are working with Dallas Habitat, if you're working with Porphyria, with Aretha, with one of our counselors, we also have preferred networks. So I mentioned earlier that Candace and Laura are part of our preferred realtor network. Of course, you also know from our webinar with Bank of America, we have a preferred lender network as well. And of course, we have a preferred insurance agent network. And so for us, these individuals are an extension. Candace and Laura are an extension of the services that Dallas Habitat provides. And so you can know that if Dallas Habitat's homeownership program is not a good option for you for whatever reason, if you choose to shop the open market, you're in good hands with our partners as well. A couple of other questions that have come through. Are the prices of homes going down now because of COVID-19? That's a really good question.
The market is actually pretty steady. So I know there's like a meme going around and it says millennials are waiting for the market to crash for prices to come down or something like that. But actually, you know what? The market is really steady. So I don't see that happening. But we're watching the market daily. Interest rates are very good right now. They're, I think, at 3.2%. So we don't see prices of homes going down at the moment. They're steady. So there's I saw somebody ask about insurance.
Yes. The question was, do you have to pay your insurance out of pocket? And to answer that question for Victoria, who submitted that, typically as a first-time buyer, you're going to be required by your lender to create something called an escrow account. An escrow account is designed to help you manage your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes and any other kind of insurance you might have on your home, such as private mortgage insurance or flood insurance if you live in an area that requires that. And so to answer your question shortly, no, you don't pay that out of pocket typically. It'll be included in your escrow every year.
Yeah.
And we have a question too, some Habitat specific questions. Does Habitat have resources that assist with down payment assistance, or do we have to find funding on our own? That's a great question, Rhonda. Thank you for asking that question. For anybody that's coming through our homeownership counseling program, if you're working with our counselor and you become mortgage ready, and the Dallas Habitat homeownership program is an option for you, meaning buying one of the new homes that Dallas Habitat builds, we provide down payment assistance for every single buyer that comes through our program directly from Dallas Habitat. In addition to that, a lot of times with our Dallas Habitat homeownership program, there may be other sources of down payment assistance that are out there on the market that we may be able to help you tap into. And if you can get qualified for that assistance as well, we're going to direct you that way. We had a lot of buyers, in fact, in 2019 and this year, who have taken advantage of some amazing programs that are out there in the market for first-time home buyers. If you choose to shop the open market, we 100% are going to refer you to any down payment assistance programs that we think we can get you qualified for. That's a huge advantage, especially for first-time home buyers. A lot of times that's the only time you might be able to qualify for that assistance. So we want to make sure we connect you with that resource. Excellent. And then Priscilla, we have a quick question about credit. Priscilla, if you're working with one of our counselors with Porphyria or Aretha, that's a great question to ask them. Generally speaking, the credit requirements in terms of the credit score requirements for Dallas Habitat's homeownership program are going to be a lot more lenient versus a traditional lender, but we still do have credit requirements. And that's part of what we'll coach you through in the mortgage ready process. Really good question. Ladies, anything else y'all would like to add before we wrap today?
Well, I would just like to encourage you guys and praise you guys and just give you guys that encouragement. Thank you guys for at least starting. Well, tuning in is one. That is awesome. You're taking that first step, which is educating yourself and finding out what it takes. So I know that it may not happen immediately, but I know that you're taking that first step, and taking that first step is the most important thing. Getting your things together. Don't get discouraged. Continue to take those first steps and just get connected. If it takes working on your credit, then work on your credit. Ask the questions. The person who's going to do it is like in the mirror. So, you just look at yourself and say, what is it going to take to make this happen? And just stay connected with the people that are going to help you get there. So I think you guys are on the right track and making it happen. And before you know it, you will be there. So I can definitely share some more tips. And I know that Candace can definitely share some more tips. Blaine has this presentation. I know somebody asked about that. So we have additional printouts and everything else that you guys need as you go through the process. So definitely reach out if you have any additional questions.
Yeah, I thank you guys for tuning in. This has been amazing. I hope that you found great value in this information. Like we mentioned before, Blaine is a huge resource. So lean on your resources. Lean on your resources. We'll be a great resource for you. Any questions or clarity, additional clarity that you need, we are here to be resources. We just want to help. We just want to make things easier for you. And we just want to make sure that you're as educated as possible, because the more educated that you are, the more comfortable you'll be in making the decisions that will impact your family and your future. So be very encouraged to ask questions, get clarity, and get as much education in this process as possible until you actually start going forward with purchasing a home. And just know that we're here to assist and help and answer any questions.
Yes.
No doubt. Ladies, as always, it is such a pleasure hosting you both. Thank you for everything you do for Dallas Habitat, for our buyers, for the Dallas community. We love it. To our viewers today, we would like to share with you too a reminder that we do have our next webinar scheduled also on Zoom for this coming Thursday. I believe that's the 14th of May. It'll be at 6 p.m. The topic is credit. We had a lot of questions about this today. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that as we get questions and we hear from you guys, we create the content that you want to hear about. Credit is one of the topics with the most myths out there. Okay, so we are about to debunk the credit myth that you have. And to Laura's point earlier in the presentation, you might have remembered her mentioning things are different with COVID-19. Just to her point, a few weeks back, we were seeing credit score requirements 580, 600, which is fantastic. We're seeing that change with some lenders now. So make sure that if you're really committed to the home buying journey, you tune into that webinar as well. That webinar, this webinar, and all of our webinars that are hosted on Zoom are all recorded. And what that means is that you can watch them either live or also on demand. So if you visit our website, dallasareahabitat.org, and go to our education page, you'll see a webinars calendar where you can go back and watch the webinars that we've done in April, and this one as well. Or share, if you know someone that you say, you got to see these two fabulous realtors I watched this morning, they can always go back and watch this in retrospect. So that being said, we thank you all so much for tuning in. Laura and Candace, happy Mother's Day to you guys, to all of our lovely mothers who are on our call today. Y'all enjoy this beautiful weekend.
Yes, happy Mother's Day, ladies. I don't have any children, but happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful superwoman powerhouse women out there.
Yes, Laura, I know you do. So happy
Yes.
Mother's Day to you. You deserve
Yes, thank you. I have a lot of kids.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.